Welcome. How's everybody doing? Good evening, Source Nation. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Just want to welcome you to SRN Live Television. I am Dr. Samori Swygert, your host of the Pendulum. And today we have an amazing show, I believe. I'm giving you some of my analysis. But before I go there, I want to make sure that we thank our sponsors because they make all of this possible. With that said, Zuliana Health and Fitness, Paper to Film Productions, Renovations, New Covenant of Praise Worship Center, Meet My Types Matchmaking, Blend to Blend Juice Bar Boutique, and Urban Grandstand Digital. Now, Source Nation, if you would like to advertise your business with us, your products with us, you can do so with SRN Live Television. You want to contact Kathy B. Her email address is this: KathyLynn1971 at gmail.com. That is KATHYLYNN 1971 at gmail.com. Or you can contact Tracy Jeffcoat at gmail.com. That's TRECIEJEFFCOAT at gmail.com. Make sure you share this broadcast on your social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and everything else that everybody's using today in the social media atmosphere. Now, it's time to kick things off. No punt intended. We're going to talk, being that we're getting into football season. I think it's only right that we kind of go back in time a little bit. Let's swing the pendulum back a little bit and talk about Colin Kaepernick, the NFL protests in light of police brutality in America, right? And then I'm going to give you some analogies on how black men, because, when you look at the NFL, a large amount of the players, NFL players, are black men. A substantial portion of NFL fans, black men. But I'm making this uniquely towards black men, and I'm gonna show you why. When I tie in the analogies, I really hope that y'all get it and you enjoy it. Look at it in a different light. But first, we're gonna start with Kaepernick, right? So, Kaepernick was quarterbacking out there in California. And then what happened was people just saw him taking a knee during the anthem. It's not like Kaepernick went out and said, "Hey, give me a camera and a microphone. I have to say something, da 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 da." Kaepernick decided to quietly take a knee during the anthem, minding his business. It was just that's just what he decided to do. He didn't announce it. That's just what he did. What happened then? What followed was you saw, of course, the cameras always sweep and pan through the crowd. And so, when they zero in on him, oh wow, why is he kneeling during the national anthem? What's going on with that? And so then came the whole questioning. Well, put the mic in his face, put the cameras on. We need to ask, what is this? Well, why are you kneeling during the national anthem? Well, Colin Kaepernick gave his response. He gave his answer. And people didn't like it. It really accentuated a growing divide among the American populace. His answer was, look, I find it kind of, and I'm just paraphrasing it because I don't have everything verbatim, but basically it revolved around the fact that, look, how can I have the flag stand to and pledge allegiance to it, sing the anthem. If you fully know the full stanzas and verbiage and lines of the song, it has a racial past, it has a racial connotation to it. Two, how can we call it justice and liberty and freedom and equality for all when we see a substantial amount of Black people that are being abused at the hands of law enforcement? And he let it be known that it's not all law enforcement. He let it be known that he was not trying to disrespect the United States military, the armed forces. But he wanted to make it plain that, look, he recognized that I, as an individual, I do have a platform. I do, on one of the most watched television, on one of the most observed days of the week on TV, Sundays, I have an opportunity to exercise this, use my platform to speak out against the atrocities. And the thing is, he didn't even really speak out. It was just, I was just taking my knee. Now you're curious as to why I assume this posture and position. You put the camera and microphone in my face and you ask me questions. Now I give you the answers and you're not content. You're not happy with my answers. Matter of fact, my answer kind of disturbs you a little bit. But I'm telling you that I am not happy with the amount of Blacks that are being killed at the hands of law enforcement before they really receive any just due, before they are read their Miranda rights. They don't even get to see a lawyer. They don't get to make it to the jail to get booked. Proper procedures and protocols are being violated. They're being murdered right there on the spot. And so it was reflective of like the deaths of Eric Gardner, Philando Castile, Sandra Bland, Eric Crawford, Mike Brown. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And so he used his platform for that. And because of that, when the season was up, Kaepernick still has yet to be re-signed. The NFL took a position like, look, let's also remember Donald Trump then doubled down on his position against Kaepernick and any other NFL players, because it wasn't just Kaepernick. After Kaepernick did it, well, when Kaepernick did it, there were other, I think it was like 2 or 3 other teammates that were doing it too. Then you started seeing sprinkles of NFL players taking a knee during the anthem. So a lot of people felt like, hey, this right here is unpatriotic. It's a slap in the face. This is not what football is about. X, Y, and Z. And so then it brings into question, well, if this isn't what football is about, if we're supposed to be just doing football, if everybody's just concerned about football, why are you forcing everybody to pledge allegiance? Why even introduce the concept of pledging allegiance in the national anthem? Why don't you just make it just football? Like, you paid your ticket, you can have the teams come on the field, you start your introductory play, and you play football. Why must you introduce the political and patriotic thing into the game of football? We're just talking about a game. We're talking about football, pigskin, helmets, shoulder pads. But Now you want and you're mandating people to pledge allegiance, to stand. So now you've inserted politics into sports, but you expect 100% compliance and zero deviation from that, right? But it's just sports. When you have scouts and sports agents looking at young athletes in high school and college, you're looking at their performance. When you have the combines and you're looking at how fast they are, how agile they are, how strong they are, their performance, their endurance, you're looking at their athleticism and their ability to perform as a football player. You're not looking at them to be a patriot. You're not looking at them to be the best singer of an anthem. You have imposed the concept of politics, nationalism, and patriotism on NFL players. So then, if you can do that on them, is it not okay for them to insert and impose something that they believe in, right? Because we're just talking about football, just football. They came there to play football. They didn't come there to be political. You inserted politics into this. Now they're inserting something else, and you don't like it. Now, fast forward, like I said, Kaepernick has yet to be signed. I doubt he'll ever be signed. But he's been getting a lot of national love, a lot of national attention. Also has some hate mail and things like that because people try to conflate his position, which is, look, we want real justice. We want true policies and consistent standards across the board on how police lawfully and legally engage citizens. Okay? Justice should be dealt out equally. You know, it shouldn't be different standards of care for people that are apprehended or arrested by law enforcement. And so you see where you have different people that may get arrested or stopped by police officers. You see how some whites are treated. White men, white women are treated. Very different from how black men and black women are treated. It's a lot more violent, a lot more abrasive, a lot more brute. The force is much greater. The law enforcement is not as courteous, is not as amicable. They're ready to go at any second when it's somebody that's black. Firearms, we say, look, hey, we saw Dylan Roof shoot up a whole church, and you exercised restraint, and you knew he was armed because he shot up a whole church. You knew he was armed. When you approached him with care and concern. Philando Castile was in a car, told you that he had a license to carry, told you where the gun was, but you offer reflex or habit, I don't know if it's training, or just, look, your preconceived notions through social conditioning on how to deal with and engage individuals of color, you were a little less lenient. Like you really just, I could get the gun out, shoot. Understand? When you have these mass murderers, you have a mass murderer. You had the young man who was in Florida, was it Stoneman Douglas High School, who shot up that school in Florida a couple months ago, and he's okay. So you have a murderer that can do that, and he's okay. Most of these white male mass murderers, they commit some of the most heinous crimes and atrocities, and they're able to make it through. Point in case, the Colorado shooter in Aurora, Colorado, he shot up the whole movie theater, and with an assault rifle. And he's brought in, he's arrested. He's read his rights. He's Mirandized. He gets to booking. He goes through the whole judicial process. He experiences the whole process. We don't get that. We are not afforded that luxury. We don't get that benefit of the doubt. We are judged and executed in real time. And so these are the things that Colin Kaepernick was addressing. By no means, and did you ever hear him say, I'm against the Coast Guard, the Navy, the Army, the Marines, the Air Force. You never heard him say that at all. Okay? You even had some military vets stand with him, saying, no, you do have a valid point. So that's kind of out the window. What it is was trying to use patriotism as a shaming device, a shaming mechanism, a shaming tool through patriotism, through the military, because we know that the military goes abroad and they risk their lives to protect the country. And so most people they give automatic deference and they give automatic praise and kudos and accolades to the bravery and the commitment of the men and women in the armed forces. So it tried to use that against Kaepernick, but that was never ever Kaepernick's stance. So it was very much a false argument that they were trying to establish against him. So now we're still moving forward, and what we're also experiencing and what we're thinking about now is you have Dak Prescott, right, with the Cowboys. And you have Jerry Jones now, who's the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. And, Jerry Jones, he did the one-time deal with the whole team. But now, all the owners got together in some meeting a couple of months ago, basically just like, look, you can't do that. Can't any form of protest. No. So now Jerry Jones took a formal stance against it. Dak Prescott, quarterbacking now for the Cowboys, is like, look, I don't see any reason why I should be kneeling. Like, keep that off the field. I'm here to play ball. Okay. That's your position. And the thing is, everybody is allowed to have their opinion and position as a human being. So I don't knock him for that. But the thing is, let's not to be so apolitical and to act as if some of the stuff isn't real and ignoring the different mechanisms of addressing and prioritizing these atrocities that are happening in America with people of color and how they are engaged by law enforcement. Let's not play dumb. Let's not play dumb. This is a very serious issue. And so Dak Prescott took quite the opposite of Colin Kaepernick, right? So he's very much in Jerry Jones' pocket, right? But now let's talk about the other thing, though. What was so prior to Dak Prescott's statement? You had a couple months ago where the very thing that Kaepernick was talking about with law enforcement and engaging black people, you had the incident with one of the NFL players. I can't remember if he's active or ex-NFL player. But he was accosted and roughed up by multiple cops, slammed on the ground. I think there might have been actually two NFL players that witnessed it, that had gone through a brutal engagement with law enforcement. I think there's been two. I think somebody was drawn down on with guns in Vegas, and there was another one that was like slammed to the ground and all of that. So when you have NFL players You have multi-million-dollar players being violently apprehended by law enforcement. Now, that speaks directly to the NFL. Hey, did Kaepernick have a point? Could it be possible that one of your star players might end up dead at the hands of law enforcement because of the fact that they will not address and correct and remedy their handling and their processing, their standards, their protocols? You won't have thorough review of that. You won't really punish bad cops. Yes, you've had NFL players that could have been killed. So it was quite ironic. It was very ironic that as people want to act like this wasn't an issue, that you had two NFL players that could have lost their lives. And this is post Kaepernick. So that was very telling. But now, fast forward some more, right? And which is what I really like. So, a couple weeks ago we had the NFL Hall of Fame ceremony. And with that, you had Randy Moss up there. And so they were interviewing Randy Moss. He had his gold jacket. You know what I'm saying? He had his gold jacket on. You had my other man, Ray Lewis from the Baltimore Ravens. He was up there. He had his jacket on. But you had, right there, you just saw two different sets of NFL players. Two different mindsets of multi-millionaire athletes. Two different mindsets and philosophies of real superstars that have put down some of the best records in the league. And so Ray Lewis has kind of always been that person that's kind of been like the antagonist. He's kind of walked the line, or more so, look, I kind of wash my hands of the whole police and black people. Like, I'm just here for the game, and that whole Black Lives Matter, police involved shoot, like, I don't know nothing about that. He kind of just disavowed from that. Randy Moss came up there and, without really even having to say, before he could even verbally say anything, his tie. Randy Moss, it's the little things that you can do. It's the little things that you can do. Randy Moss had a black tie, and then he had, in gold, 13 names of black individuals, black men and women, that died at the hands of law enforcement or died in custody of law enforcement. Going all down his tie, Eric Garner, Sandra Bland, Eric Crawford, Philando Castile, everybody, all the names. And it was so ingenious because what he did by doing that, even if he didn't have to say a word, he put the conversation back on the table because he knew, hey, football season's about to start back up. You know what? And hello, we still here and the topic is still here. That right there. And then he still spoke to it because it's important to us. It's important to us. And so this is where I want to go with the topic of today. Since we're getting to sports season, NFL season, let's have the conversation. Is Colin Kaepernick's stance, is his position, has the dynamic changed at all since Kaepernick made his debut? We think not debut, but when he first took his stance with his kneel, when he took his kneel, has anything changed? I don't think so. Since then, we've seen a lot more occur. So it also brought out a divide within the black community itself also, because it brought about a thing of change and sacrifice? Do we really believe in change and sacrifice, or do we go through the motions? Do we go through the motions of saying that we want change, but are you willing to sacrifice for change? You had the Montgomery bus boycott, where blacks in Montgomery, Alabama, under the leadership of Dr. Martin Luther King and Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth and a lot of other black leaders during the time, said, look, you know what? No, you know what? We're not going to support the city's buses if you're going to engage in these racist policies and racial treatment of black riders. And so what? They got together and said, look, you know what? We're going to sacrifice. We're going to inconvenience ourselves to make our point and shut you down. And so for almost a year, they did not ride the buses. And so the Montgomery bus transportation, they felt that. They felt that deficit in black commuter revenue. They felt the deficit of black commuter revenue. They eventually had to cave into the demands. And so the argument is this. This is the rebuttal that you get from some black people. They say, look, you know what? Hey, look, your argument is with the police. Jerry Jones and the NFL and all the other owners, they're not the ones killing you. Jerry Jones and the commissioners and the other team owners, they're not the ones arresting you, abusing you, brutalizing you, and everything, which is true. They are not. But at some point in time, you take a stand, and it's a matter of inconvenience to bring national attention to an issue. So somebody usually has to become the target. And so really it was, hey, black folks, can you being that Kaepernick decided to express his stance for African Americans and people of color, and the NFL clapped back on him and decided to neutralize him. Let's not watch the NFL, because what it is Kaepernick was taking a stand for African Americans, people of color that are being brutalized by some, because you got the trolls in this section. Oh, you're saying all cops are bad? No, I'm not saying all. There's some cops, and then there's an ideology that's permeating through some of the police departments. So he's pushing back against that. But the fact that you choose to penalize and ostracize Colin Kaepernick as an organization, then yes, we the people may stand in solidarity with Kaepernick against you and not watch the NFL. Maybe we need to rethink our subscriptions to some of the broadcasts. And so you have some people that took that position. Well, the NFL didn't do that the NFL didn't arrest or brutalize anybody. But people are missing the point. And the only real reason is the fact that they want to watch football. They want to watch football. They want to be entertained. So they're not willing to sacrifice their enjoyment through recreational sports for a higher cause and purpose when we talk about recognizing the humanity of citizens that are losing their lives in the negligent behavior of some law enforcement officers. You put your entertainment over your humanity. It's an opportunity to stake a claim. Most people don't even want to get in the streets and risk their lives marching the way that many of the marchers did when they were doing it in the civil rights in the Black Power era. people don't even want to get out and protest. So the simplest thing to do was to say, look, you know what? I'm at home. I don't have to get in the streets and picket. I don't have to get in the streets with my bullhorn. I don't have to get in the streets and go face to face with police officers and get maced. All you have to do is just, as you're at home, just not watch it. Unsubscribe. Very simple form of protest, but people won't even do that. So it questions, how serious is the black community when it comes to this? All right? Just some thoughts. But yeah, so shout out to Rarity Moss for that, right? But now, I also want to get into something else, and that is the analogy. I told you I was going to talk about the analogy of football. Now, I'm not going to get real intricate to it, but I'm going to get into the analogy of football, black male aggression, and how to look at football in another way as a black male and as it pertains to our children and our women. All right? So let's talk about it. Let me get my notes. So, BMA, black male aggression, right? Black male aggression has always been considered a threat, whether we're talking about Birth of a Nation, the movie. Black male aggression is often met with swift and severe punishment and recourse by law enforcement and the powers that be. Black male aggression has been tied to rape. So when you hear of Rosewood, it's easy to place the scapegoat of blame on black male aggression. You're talking about raping a white woman. You're talking Emmett Till. A black male is being aggressive, whistling. He's out of place, and some of the swiftest things. So we have to look at what black male aggression is and when it is allowed in America, right? Black male aggression. It is only permitted in acting, in sports, and when white America can benefit substantially from it. So what do I mean by that? Boxing, black male aggression, that's fine. Football, black male aggression, that's fine. Basketball, all the sports and acting. Even if you're talking about music, with it gangster music, or whether some sensual R&B where, black male aggression is kind of accentuating the sexual prowess. Because when it's like that, it is what? Black male aggression is controlled, it is regulated, and it earns money for other people. Understand clearly what I'm saying. It's regulated, so you have agencies, you have commissions. You have the boxing commission, the NFL commission, the NBA commission. You have sports agents and agencies. All right, you have owners. You can say, yes, fine, do that. Do that on the field. Do that on the court. Do that on the green. Do it on ice, too. We got some black male hockey players. But do not exercise your black male aggression in the streets, in the courtroom, in the boardroom, in the classroom, on Capitol Hill. See, black male aggression simply meaning I see what I want and I'm going after it confidently and assertively. Period. It is considered a threat. Barack Obama, as politically correct as he wanted to be, as suave as he could be, as presentable, amicable, kind, and courteous he could be, he was considered a threat, black male aggression. Okay? You get political. You get socially political. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, H. Rap Brown, Kwame Ture, the Black Panthers. See, when black male aggression begins to manifest outside of the realm of the gridiron in the basketball court, the baseball diamond, that is a no-go. That's a threat, and it must be neutralized immediately. See, we have all of these militias out here that can do what they want, and a lot of these militias, they're mostly all white. Mostly all white. As soon as you see black militias, they're met with swift repercussions. You've seen what happened to the young black male with the Huey Newton Gun Club. They put him on the Black Identity Extremist list, arrested him, he's still in custody. You can think about what happened with the Black Panthers. They're exercising the same rights as these militia groups are doing now. Oh, we have to neutralize them. We got to neutralize them. We shoot up their headquarters, bomb their headquarters, firebomb their headquarters, take out their leaders, incarcerate their leaders. We got to do that. The MOVE movement in Philadelphia, got to take that house out and the block. Take out the whole block. Firebomb that, blow that whole thing up. Can't have that. Black male aggression. It's sad. And so this is what I'm saying when it comes to football. This is exactly like it's let's constantly bombard black males with the concept of sports and entertainment, because that's how we want to control your aggression. Your aggression should only be manifested in a realm of entertainment. Something that we can control and regulate and manipulate, and we can benefit from. Anything outside of that realm and out of that dimension almost needs to be illegal. It must be banned. It must be criminalized. This is what we see. But like I said, how many militias do we see? White militias. Remember when we had Clive and Bundy and the Bundy Ranch, and the Federal Land Bureau management came in to get that cattle and whatever they were doing with the land. You had a swarm of white militias come with heavily armed weaponry, and they drew down on federal law enforcement officers. And the law enforcement officers retreated. What would have happened if that was an all-black militia? These things are going on all the time, but we fail to act like there's no double standard that exists. We know that there's a double standard, and if you're saying that there's not, then you're just not being honest with yourself. You know there's special treatment. This is why you saw the white gentleman that got arrested inside of the airport earlier last week. When he got arrested and taken down, he said, "You're treating me like a black man, like a black person." The situation forced him to reveal the subliminal code that goes on in the psyche and understanding. What do you mean? Don't treat me like a black man. Don't treat me like a black person. Treat you like what? No, I'm going to treat you like somebody. We should only treat you as if somebody that has broken the law. But you know that there is a different standard of handling and behavior and protocol when it comes to apprehending or arresting or processing different individuals of different races. So these are the things we're talking about with black male aggression. Now, I tied that in with sports. Now, let's take it to another level, right? So, sports, right? I want to say this. You're looking at sports as football. That's what we're doing today. We're looking at sports and football, right? Black male aggression. You look at black male aggression in football, it's intense. Brothers coming there hulking, I mean big. 6'4", 280 pounds, 300 pounds, ready to knock somebody's block off, hit him in the chest, hit him in the shoulders, like taking brothers out, incapacitating with their hits. They're in the gym 24/7, squatting 600 pounds, bench pressing 300, 400 some pounds, getting it in every day in, day out. Get on the field, and I mean, they go at it for a ball to score. So, what if, let's do the analogy, they protect that ball, right? I mean, they get it, they hug that joint, they get tight, they running, they busting through the lines. They got their defensive linemen. Anybody come too close, we taking you out. We hitting you in the numbers, right? You come too close, you're going to get sacked. You got brothers that are running. You got wide receivers running their fastest upfield, trying to catch that ball, jumping their highest they can ever jump, catching and cradling it. What if the football was equal to the black woman and the black child? What if the football was the black woman and the black child? One more time. What if the football was the black woman and the black child? And you're using your black male aggression to protect them, to score, to advance them up the field. What does that look like? You willing to protect them at all costs? Do you have your team, your defensive line, to protect you and them as you're out in society? Let's talk about it. Now, first, the competition is on the field, right? So now some people talk about black on black violence, right? Well, okay. Sometimes in football, you have beef among the team. And in the locker room, you have some brothers that go at it in the same team, right? But at the end of the day, all that needs to be squashed because we have a goal in mind. And our real competition is on the field, not in the locker room against ourselves. So, using the same concept with black male aggression and black men and gang violence and black on black crime, hey, cut the locker room beef out. We're not here for that. No locker room beef. Our competition is on the field. Ain't no stars out here. The competition is on the field. We got to get the ball each play, move that ball further and further up till we get goal. All right? We got to move our children, our women up further and further down till we get goal, right? So locker room fights are like black on black crime. It's confined inside that locker room. It's confined in our communities, right? We got to squash that. Now, we know what that line of scrimmage look like. We got our offensive line against their defensive line. We got the ball. We got the black woman and child. And we're trying to advance them. We're trying to advance them down the line. We're trying to get the score, right? Now, there's some things that we got to keep in mind, though, right? We need a good defensive line. We need some real defensive linemen. So these are our comrades. These are our fellow men. They keep us empowered. They keep us alert. Yo, you see what's going on here? You see what's going on there? You heard about this? You read that? You see what's going on here? Have you read this new thing coming down the line? This is what's going on. Let's move this way. Let's do that. Let's not do this. All right? I've got your back. It's your defensive line because they know that the world is coming for us. And we got to protect that ball, protect the black man, protect the black woman, and the black child. Right? So you're going to need your squad. Black men, you need a squad. All black men need a squad of heavy hitters. And I'm not talking about somebody that's just there to do like physical harm, but people that keep you empowered and keep you knowledgeable, keep your head on a swivel, keep people that keep you enlightened, keep you motivated, and if need be, help defend physically. Yes. Now, here's the thing too. As we're trying to move downfield, you know, we move with the earth because, you know, we have the they're coming for us, right? You got police. You have some crooked police that are coming, some racist police that are coming. You got gangs that are coming. You got policies that are disenfranchising is coming. You got school to prison pipeline that's coming. We trying to dodge all of those hits. We trying to dodge all those hits. And see, the other thing is interceptions. See, we don't want any interceptions, right? Because what's the whole intent behind the interception? Is to gain possession of the ball and use it to score for the other team. The other team is trying to gain possession and score for themselves. Now, what did I say? They're going to get possession of the ball and then try to use that to score for themselves. So that means they have to get control of the black child and the black woman and use it to score points for themselves. Well, how does that interpret in the analogy? It interprets the analogy like this. You have, let me get my notes real good. All right. Who would love to intercept and gain possession and control of the black woman and child to score points and capitalize off them? The prison system. The prison system would love to get control of your black child and your black woman so that they can what? Work them for cheap labor and generate revenue for the companies that they have contracts with. So they are no longer in your possession and under your auspices and guidance and influence as a strong, positive black male in today's society in the 21st century. They have taken him, they have gotten control and possession of the black woman and the black child, and they have them inside of the prison system working for them. That is an interception, and they're scoring with that. So you don't want that, okay? What's another example? The military, right? Now, some people just may really just want to join the military. But you also have some people that just don't know. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't really know anything really about life. Where I'm just kind of lost right now. And you got military recruiters at the mall. Hey, why don't you join? Da, da, da. And you end up overseas, getting killed, doing things such as killing other people that you don't even know for weapons of mass destruction that was never even there. Remember Colin Powell? Remember Bush? There was no weapons of mass destruction. How many lives were lost, though? How many men and women came back with post-traumatic stress disorder that to this day are incapacitated and will never be the same? Used, controlled, possessed, manipulated. Now, if you want to join the military, I mean, that's fine. As long as it's your conscious decision that is what you want to do, it's fine. But you don't want somebody to just come in and just say, hey, this is what you want. This is what you want to do. I'm doing this. Hey, come on, do that. No. What's another example? The entertainment industry. Love intercepting your woman and your children. Let me get control of them. Let me turn her into a stripper. Let me turn him into this sex icon and this thug rapper. And I'm going to exploit him and use him up, and I'm going to get them both hooked on drugs and alcohol and have them doing everything that I want them to do, use them up to make millions for me, and I'm going to spit them out. I'm a Michael Jackson them, get millions off them, and then dispose of them. I'm a Whitney Houston them, use them up and expose them. You don't want that. That's the interception of talent and lives. What's another interception? Trafficking, sex trafficking. You want your women and your children protected and confident in who they are so that they're not online getting tricked, getting catfished, and meeting people that are involved in sex trafficking and sex trade. The next thing you know, they're gone missing, getting trafficked, getting prostituted out and doped up so they can enrich the pockets of some pimp in a sex trade. That's the interception. The drug game and gang influence. Those are major interceptions on the black woman and the black child. Your defensive line and your grip on that ball on the black woman and child should be so tight that the gangs can't get to them. The drug gang can't get to them. Because what they do is they get them involved in drug trafficking, selling drugs, getting hooked on drugs. And then what do they end up doing? They're getting money for this kingpin that's not doing anything for the community but tearing the community down, getting the community hooked on drugs, increasing the murder rate in the community that we don't need. But the kingpin doesn't care. His main objective is to generate millions of dollars for himself and self-aggrandizement. So they're being used, they're being intercepted. These kingpins, they're recruiting and they're intercepting, they're gaining control and possession of your woman and your child. The gangs are doing the same thing. When you turn your child, your woman into a killer, he's going to bang for me. He's going to put in that work for me. He's going to do that dirt for me. Gaining possession and trying to score for themselves. Those are interceptions. So as black men, we need that tight grip, control that ball, control. And when I'm saying, I'm not saying, be this horrible master, but you need to have some control, positive control on your woman and your children, because there are forces out here that are really trying to take our team apart so that we don't score. We have to score. And so the other thing is, we think about wide receivers, right? So you look at, before I go there. Now, as you're running the plays, you got your various plays and everything. You might be running the ball. You're going downfield. And if you don't have a good defensive line, guess what? You're going to get sacked. You don't have nobody to protect you. What happened to Malcolm? What happened to Martin Luther King? What happened to Medgar Evers? They didn't have a strong enough defensive line. They didn't have people to protect them as they running that ball up the field. And what happened? Flagrant foul. Flagrant fouls occurred. That means the intentional, deliberate, malicious hit on a person, incapacitate them, stop them from scoring, intentionally doing this outside the realms of a legal tackle, a legal hit, right? They killed those brothers. That was flagrant fouls. So you need people there to really protect so we don't get these flagrant fouls, because you got people out there ready. You're not used to, they do that helmet on helmet collision is not, you're not supposed to do that. But you got some people that look, I don't care, I'm gonna get that helmet, I'm knock him out. I'm gonna incapacitate him, get him out the game. I want him out the game, take him off the field. That's what they did. They took Malcolm, Medgar, and Martin off the field with that helmet. So these are the things that we're talking about. Now, we talk about wide receivers and quarterbacks. Like, look, hey, we get to a point where we're like, all right, we see how far we got to go. All right, we got about 30 yards. All right, got the ball, but this is how we're going to run it. All right, because I don't know if we're going to get it from running from here. I'm going to wide receiver get it. I'm going to toss it downfield. That means I'm throwing the ball all the way downfield. I'm throwing my women and children. So they're out of my hands now. I'm putting all my trust into the skill of the wide receiver to catch it and bring it on down across the goal line. So who's your wide receivers? Your wide receivers, that's your colleges and universities. These are your youth groups, mentoring programs, your rites of passages. These are the people that will help accelerate and bring the ball further upfield in a single play than you could trying to run it yourself, right? And that's what colleges and universities do. You no longer really have control of your child. Hey, look, you know what, junior, you graduated, you're in college now, I hope I put everything in you to perform well and to learn and to get some skills and to achieve your goals. So I'm putting you inside the hands of this college and this university, this mentorship program, and they're going to instill some values in you. They're going to instill some education in you, some competencies in you. You're going to develop scholarship that's going to strengthen your mind, broaden your vision, broaden your horizons, prepare you for the world ahead of you. Right? You're out of my hands now. You're an adult now. And that's how it is with, our women and children. We got to prepare them. Like, hey, look, all right. You're there. Just like the wide receivers. And so that's just how things, just something for us to think about as men. Like I said, I didn't want to get too far into it as far as, how and what to do. And then the other thing is this, the last thing is this. This is the last thing. Who are the fans? Everybody likes, watching football and stuff like that. Well, who are the fans? The fans are in the bleachers. They're in the stands. They're in the stadium. And the fans are your family members. These are your grandparents, too old to really participate as an active participant in the game. But they're there cheering you on. These are your ancestors in the stands, cheering you on, hoping that you can carry the torch, take it to the next level, bring about the posterity that they've always wished for and hoped for. Remember what say you're the manifestation of your ancestors and your elders' dreams. The people in the stands, they are those that are maybe handicapped and can't do what you can, but they're still there cheering you on, telling you to go further, go harder, go farther. Give it all you got. Put it all out there on the field, because they can't participate in the game, but they want you to know that they have your best effort in mind, and they want to give you as much as they can on a motivational and inspirational level to do what you can to give the best performance to move your family forward. And so that's kind of what I wanted to say and where I wanted to go with this broadcast today. So we're talking about tailoring black male aggression in another way, thinking about football, and also remembering what this was about with Kaepernick. It's just my take on it, and this is the Pendulum with Samori Swygert every Wednesday on SRN Live Television. So, once again, just want to say thank you to our sponsors. They are Zuliana Health and Fitness, Paper to Film Productions, Renovations, New Covenant of Praise Worship Center, Meet My Types Matchmaking, Blend to Blend Juice Bar Boutique, and Urban Grandstand Digital. And once again, if you'd like to advertise with us, please make sure you reach out to us at kathylyn1971@gmail.com. That is KATHYLYNN 1971@gmail.com, or TreacyJeffcoat@gmail.com. That is TRECIEJEFFCOAT@gmail.com. And see you next Wednesday. Take care, spread love, be positive, and just do the best that you can. All right, peace.
Yo.